Hey there, I'm author Shannon Reber, and this is Genre's Bookshop podcast. And today I have my new two, cohorts. Can we call you
Oh,
cohorts? Do you think that's
Sure.
co-hosts, co-hosts, hosts.
co-hosts? Yeah, we're the tremendous trio. That's what we are.
My dad used to say, call me anything but late for supper.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. That's a classic.
Where I am today.
Okay, so this podcast has been delayed for a long time. I don't actually remember why, but we didn't our plan was to review the books that we had been reading the last time we met together. Um Ryan read one, Andy and her husband read one, and then I was reading one, and it's been a couple of weeks, and so we're all on to other books. But I still think we need to review our first books. So let's do this thing. Shall we?
Let's go first.
Yes.
I
Shannon.
can't keep jumping.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So mine is The Song of the Marked. It's by S.M. Gaither. I think it's S.M. But it's this world. Okay. So I don't usually like epic fantasy, right? I prefer urban fantasy. You know
Okay.
that? All right.
Me too.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect.
Oh.
So I don't usually pick up books that are more epic fantasy, but this one I don't even remember why I picked it up, but it basically hooked me in the first 2 minutes of listening to it. And so this world, the former king has basically hunted people with a mark, which is the mark shows what kind of magic these people have. So they have this mark on their skin, and that's let's see. That's where the Song of the Marked comes in. See, get the mark. But there's also what's called a fading sickness, and the fading sickness, basically people start to fade away, and so the main character is Cassia, which isn't her actual name. She has many different side names or whatever. But she had the fading sickness, which is always fatal. But she survived, and because she survived, it faded her hair. So she's a 20-year-old chick with gray hair. So her
Okay.
eyes are also gray.
Hmm.
I thought that I really liked just that idea.
Yeah.
So you get through this whole book, you've got the guy who Cassia is falling in love with. You've got the king who seems like a good guy, but the guy who Cassia is falling in love with says he's not. Everything is just kind of, it's stacking up. Something is going to happen. And the ending, I did not see it coming. That never, ever happens to me. Not once in like any book that I have ever read have I thought, that surprised me. I always guess the book's ending every single time, and this one totally threw me. I had no idea. I was completely thrown, and I loved it. I will honestly give this one like maybe 9.967 stars. It was
Wow.
that good. Yes.
That's very specific. I love it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But
Very good decimal place.
I know, right? But I can't tell you how many decimals it would take to get to 10. I mean, 0.00.
No.
No?
No.
A
It's
lot.
okay.
Yeah, whatever. Ask the math teacher.
Yeah. Let's just move on. I'm
Okay,
done
all right.
mathing today.
Okay, deal. But I picked up book 2
0.73.
like
Couldn't
Thank
help
you.
it.
Thank you.
Or 0.37, sorry.
I understood. I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
But
Backwards.
I really I picked up book 2 immediately, and it's not as good yet, but I know it will be because there's so much going on right now, and
How
I
far?
100% recommend. I don't know how far I am into book 2. Hold on, I'm a few hours in,
Okay.
but I I am a big fan. It has 9.5 hours left. I don't know.
Yikes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, if it's
It's
epic
so
fantasy,
good.
that's probably like 20 hours long to begin with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the first one was 15 hours, which is kind of short for epic fantasy, but I think it's a 4 or 5 book series, and I
Ooh.
will read every book in the series. I
Good.
absolutely promise you. And seriously, I'm always into urban fantasy, so it shocked me that I liked this so much.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
What made you decide that book?
I don't even remember.
Okay.
I remember listening to the voice clip and thinking I liked the woman's voice, and I
Oh,
think I heard something to do with the first scene she was climbing this cliff and there were some kind of monsters flying at her, and I went, "Oh, that sounds interesting," and I just downloaded it because it was free. So,
oh, even better.
yeah,
You
exactly.
Yes.
take those chances when it's free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I 100% recommend it if you're into epic fantasy. And yeah, the 9.9, what did I say? 967?
1.67. Yeah.
I
Yes.
did not write it down.
9.967
Okay, I
stars out
remembered.
of 10. Of course you did. But
Can't help
yeah,
it.
I don't even know why I didn't give it all 10 because it honestly does deserve it. So there you go. I'm done. Who's next? Um,
I'll go.
okay.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah, tell us
read
about Verity.
Verity. I read Verity by Colleen Hoover. The reason I picked this up because I saw it everywhere, not just on Book Talk or
Yeah.
Bookgram or Goodreads.
Mhm.
I saw it at Walmart, and I saw like some of my friends on Facebook were sharing how great this book was, and and it's not something I normally would read.
Yeah.
Romance, sort of romance, psychological romance. I think that's
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
Amazon said.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna butcher the names because I finished it like 2 weeks ago. So there's this author. Let's name her Lauren.
Wait, that
So
wasn't her name?
she, uh,
I thought it
no,
was
it
her
was
name.
close. It was,
Are
I
you sure?
don't know.
That's what you told
It
us.
starts with an L, but it's not. It's like a weird L name. So I always just call it
Oh.
Lauren.
Oh,
So
Come
I was
on.
so
whatever.
invested with
I
Lauren.
So
Now
was
I'm
invested in
done.
she,
Lauren too.
Lies.
I don't really want to give out. My cat keeps jumping on my desk.
So
Oh.
curious.
She So the story starts out, she gets a proposal to help ghostwrite this 3 books of to finish a series that this Verity author wrote, who got into a car accident. So she's unable to finish the stories. But she got this good deal. So she moves into Verity's house with her husband, not really moved in, but just kind of goes through the office to try to find notes and stuff for these stories. And she stumbles upon an autobiography. And I don't, that might be, that's all I want to say about the
Yeah.
autobiography.
Probably
So
best
after the
not to dump too
autobiography is
much.
being read throughout the books, usually it's like alternate chapters, like the biography, then the chapter that's in present day.
Okay.
It gets dark fast.
Oh.
And the ending, because there's I just got the great Walmart version. There is like a Barnes and Noble version, which people have posted on Reddit that has a epilogue. That's the one I read after. And that ending changes like the whole dynamic of the book. Because
Oh
you
my
want to go back and
gosh.
reread all the because Verity was married to this guy named Jeremy. That name I remember.
Hey.
Um, yeah. And you feel kind of compassionate for this guy because his wife died. He had 2 other major tragedies in his life. So you just feel bad. But then the unreleased epilogue that's in Barnes and Noble's like, oh,
Careful, careful, careful.
yeah. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna
Spoilers.
say. But to be honest, if you haven't read this book yet, you definitely should. But if it's not, if you know you're don't like psychological romances and you're like, I don't know, books, but I don't know, nonfiction. Maybe this book isn't for you. But I really liked it. It was really fast paced. I read most of it at work. I would have read a lot more at work, but I, have to work.
Well, yeah, working is
Ugh,
Yeah,
pretty,
I have to
yeah.
work at work. So, but yeah,
unfortunately.
I don't think on a scale of 1 to 10, I know I gave you a number. I
I
forgot
think
what it
yours
was,
was
but
like
it's close to it's.
eight point eight
Yeah.
six. I think you said
Yeah, that sounds good.
8.86.
That's
Yeah.
8.86 is definitely where I'd go
Okay.
with it.
Okay.
It if it had more horror elements, it was kind of like, oh my God, but it wasn't like it's
Blood chilling.
people. Yeah, people are
Yes.
just bad.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
what you were telling us, I was thinking at
yeah.
first, I really want to read this book. And then the more you told us, I was like, yep, nope, not my thing.
Yeah,
Taking that
Definitely.
off my wish list.
after I read it, I walked around, and you know, and saw people. I'm like, is it really who they think they are?
Started judging
Mm,
everyone.
Oh, well, I mean, that's
yeah,
actually the
Gosh.
sign of a very good author.
yeah,
If
yeah,
they change
definitely.
the way you view the world or,
Yeah,
Yeah.
make you suspicious of the
True.
world, I guess.
yeah. So one thing I
Very
also want to add, so was it this weekend, I went to Walmart just because, and had to pick up a few items, but I just went to their book section and they had 10 Colleen Hoover books, 11 if you count Verity. So like
Mm.
she is wild. And then I went to Barnes and Noble last Tuesday and she had like 2 tables just dedicated to all her books. So she is very
You want to know
prolific and
how many Shannon Reber books are in Walmart?
Oh, come on.
that would have
How
been
rude.
rude if I would
How
have said. I
rude,
would have got it
Belle.
right. I just would have been really rude.
Oh, come
That's because you don't
But
want
yeah,
them there.
I really
I
enjoyed this
don't,
book
but
and
yeah.
See.
yeah, I really enjoy and I'm kind
Do
of
you,
interested a little bit to read other books by her because
that's what I was
it
gonna
was
ask.
it was very fast paced and
Okay.
with my job I like when books are fast paced because they're just like boop, 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 boop. And there was well 2 main characters. Verity was her character, but yeah, she didn't really have an active role. And then there was a son, but she's 5, so he didn't really have a big role either. So when they're like tight and there's not a whole lot of characters and stuff, it's quick read. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
But I
Okay.
thought you were
Yeah,
this huge Stephen King fan. That is so not a
I
Stephen
am.
King thing.
And no, well, sometimes Stephen King's best work is when he doesn't have a whole lot of
Oh.
characters. And this is my cat. She's jumping all over.
Goodbye,
Whenever I
Jules.
sit down, she has to jump on my lap. So I'm
I know
sitting,
that.
so she
Yeah,
has to
yeah.
jump on.
Hmm.
I'm
All
not gonna
right,
lock her in the
Andy.
room.
Andy, I think it's your turn.
Okay.
Okay.
I read with Jed. I read The Three Body Problem, which is a series it's a series, but it was the first book of the series. So it's kind of like setting up the world and all the world building and all that kind of stuff. So it's a sci-fi. And it was originally written in Chinese, but it was translated into English. So there are a lot of like very Asian names in the book. So at first it's really hard to like keep track of who's who and because the names all sound so similar and foreign. So it was a little difficult for me to like follow, but it doesn't really take away from anything really.
Okay.
Because once the things start happening, you're like, oh, okay, it's those people that this is going on with. Okay. So it
Okay.
starts out and China's going through this revolution where, it's communist, it's go this way and don't, people who are trying to learn science and maybe say the Western style or whatever, you can't do anything that's not ordained by the government. And if you do, you're a traitor to the government and we're going to put you on, public trial and execution.
Oh.
So it's that sort of thing going on. So this young girl gets um her father is on trial. Her mother has turned him in and
Oh.
he gets executed right in front of her. She's like 10 years old, maybe. And then she just goes up there, like everybody's left. She's up there sitting with her dad's body for hours before they decide to like tell her, like, you need to go. And then they clean up his body, like move it, put it in the pile. So this singular event. This is kind of like the prologue, if you will.
Okay.
That's what happens. So that like sets the stage for everything. And the book happens over a series of 500 years.
Oh.
So the first
Ooh.
book is like the first 50 years, and it kind of deals with that whole like what's going on in China and this political unrest and this governmental thing, and then there's different factions that break off. Well, this woman got, somebody convinced her to write a book. All these series of events happens, and she starts working for the one that watched her father die. Like,
Okay.
she grew up and she thinks like her father, but she's very quiet about it. Well, she got signed on with this scientific research place, and they wouldn't let her do anything because they were like, your father was, he was a radicalist. So we got to be careful with you. It's in your genes. So they're like, you can sweep the floors and you can work on the computers, like, just make sure they're nice and reset. Everything's plugged in. Kind of treated her like that, but she was smart enough to like pick up on the things that were going down. And one night, basically what they're doing is they're trying to find aliens, right? They're trying to find life out there. Well, at the same time, there's this video game going on that people can enter into, and it's a VR world. And at the same time, like these two things are happening at the same time. So she's doing this, and she ends up figuring out a way to send a message into space using the sun. Like, she shoots it into the sun and it makes it go really fast, because all the other ones that they were sending weren't going fast enough to reach anything. They were like pittering out before they ever left the solar system. So that's going on. She waits for her opportune time and she sends out the message, and then they send a message back, or she gets a message back like 8 years later, and it says, do not respond. Do not respond. If I'm a pacifist of my nation, if you respond, my people will come to your earth and destroy it. And she's like, I hate this place. I will help you. And she sends it back.
Oh. Wow.
Sign me up.
Yeah. So
Sign me
on
up.
the other side, they're doing this video game and they could enter into it, and it's you're like trying to figure out what's going on, and it's VR, and you go in, and then you're running across this desert, and then something, these two things fly across the sky, and they go, oh no, the chaos era is coming. And they all run and hide. And it's like, this guy's like, I'm the king, and this is my knight. And then his knight is like, just dehydrate me. So he like dehydrates him and rolls him up into a little like rug, and then puts him under his arm. And
Isn't that where you put all the people you dehydrate? I mean,
yes. And then when there's one sun, and they talk about how when there's one sun in the sky, it's a time of like, everything's good, and they rehydrate all the dehydrated people, and they, everybody's living in prosperity, and it's this whole thing. And then they realize, like, you go through the book and you realize it's a planet that has three suns, and the three suns are like they have their own gravitational pull, and they're affecting each other, and they have like different distances, and at some point all three of them are around the planet, like in the sky at the same time, and it burns the planet and annihilates everybody, and civilization has to start over. And they've been going through this cycle for eons, and they finally decided, we gotta get the heck off of this planet. And then those are the people that are like, we need to find somebody else. So they find somebody else, and they're like, hey, this is Earth, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, do not respond. And she was like, I'll help you. And then somebody goes, who sent this do not respond? Murder the whole unit. We're going here. And so that's how the two things like collide. And now and it's called Trisolaris because it's three bodies, right?
Okay.
Trisolaris, three suns, the three body problem. Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
anyway, now they're on their way. They've turned their ships and they're in a beeline towards Earth, and they're 4.5 light years away, but they can't go any faster than that. So they're like 450 years away from reaching planet Earth.
Oh.
And then planet Earth goes, what? And they've made this technology. I won't go into it too far, but they've basically found a way to inhibit Earth's ability to further their knowledge or their understanding of science because they started messing with all the particles and they like made everything go chaotic. And now all the scientists are like committing suicide because it's just not it's not physics. It's not right. It's not acting right. Like it's chaos. And so they're like, my whole life, and they're gone. So,
Dedication.
yeah, exactly. I was like, go find a new school.
I
There are
don't feel that
Walmarts
strongly enough
everywhere.
about anything.
Exactly. There's Walmart just for you, dude.
Right. Go sell some Colleen Hoover books. You'll be fine.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, these people have like lost their minds. They've gone insane. They're all committing suicide. And then they realize like these people have been messing with their science and they'll continue to mess with them. So they can't ever get like they can't advance it because all their experiments are failing. And so, like, well, the only thing we could do is just make our military better. So let's just focus on that. And it's still not probably going to be enough, but we're into book 2 and yeah, it's about to get wild.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Now, hold on. So the VR video game is actually from the alien planet?
It is a recreation of that planet. And they're
Oh,
having people in the game, like the highest like minds of the game, like once they get to a certain level,
yeah.
like if you're not one of these minds, you don't get to play this game. So they only let
Okay.
certain people play it, and it's these problem solving, and they think they're just playing a game, and then they realize like, oh, this is a real civilization that I'm like into, like I'm
Oh,
tying
okay.
into this,
That's
and
cool.
and that's
And that
how,
is
and
so you too, by the way. That is
Mhm.
so you.
Me or him?
You, Andy.
Me. Oh,
That's you.
yeah.
That's so you.
It is. It's so weird and off the wall and wild and like there's just so much because there's so many like little stories that come together to fit this big story into it. And it was like that woman, I mean that woman that sent the message out that was like, I don't even like this place. She was married to a man and so like she was married to one of the other scientists and then there was like her general guy and she had a plan. He wasn't going to let her do that anymore. He was like, he found her out and all this kind of stuff. She was like, well, I have to kill him now. And so she made this, like, she went and worked on the computers and she made it look like there was a grounding wire issue, which you have to go like over the cliff and go like into the mountains and like fix it. So she knew that he was going to do that. And then her husband came along, was like, oh, he's down there. I'll go help him. She's like, no, no, no. He's got it. He's fine. He was like, no, no, no. And she's like, please don't go down there. And he was like, I'll be fine. So he
Oh,
went down and she was like, well,
say
whatever.
Levy.
She sawed the cable anyway
Of course she
and
did. I mean,
killed that man and her husband. She was like, well,
yeah.
he's collateral damage, whatever.
See
It's
ya.
like, girl, you are wild. She
That's
really
a
doesn't.
very strong bond
Jeez,
they
I
had,
thought my
apparently.
book was dark.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the
Uh,
whole book's one of the people that I was surprised that she even ever had a child. One of the people that, like, the way we find out her story is because her daughter was one of the physicists that committed suicide.
oh.
And
Oh, that's
so,
sad.
yeah, but I mean, she killed her own husband and
Yeah, yeah.
she's a little loony herself. She's
I
like
would say, yeah.
condemned. She's like, I'll help you
I'll
destroy
help
them.
you
She's like,
destroy
I
our
don't like them
planet.
either. Yeah, so
Bye.
she created this whole organization that is dead set, and they continue through the 450 years as well. So,
Wow.
yep. 3-body problem.
Yeah,
Book
I would
1.
say that. I
And
would
it was
say that
narrated.
is.
Yeah, it was narrated by Luke Daniels. So
He's my favorite.
I know he is. The second one isn't, but the second guy is. At first, I was like, "Oh man, Daniels," and then I started listening to this guy. I'm like, "Okay, well, this guy is really good too." So I don't know his name, but I was
Okay.
like, "Okay, I can listen to this. He's really, really very good." So
Okay.
I got no complaints about it. I give
All right.
3-body problem 9.2 just because of the
Yeah.
That's
names.
really
What?
good.
How about
You
just
know.
a little higher of a decimal? Come on.
No.
No, no. All
No,
right.
if I changed it up a little, I'd be like 9.15 probably
Okay.
because
Okay.
just because of like the naming, it's hard to like keep track of everything, but the
I
story
guess
itself is like slamming.
that's very cool. Okay,
Really
so
cool.
we are running low on time, but what are you reading next, Andy?
Oh, I'm reading. I don't have it next to, it's by my bed. It's on my nightstand, but it's the one that Ryan told me to read. Because remember, we all did
Yeah,
one for each other.
Yeah.
So
indeed.
Ryan suggested that I read The Book Thief. So I'm not going to say
Mhm.
anything about it. I'm going to save it for
Okay,
next time. So I'm
save it
reading
for
The Book
next time.
Thief.
Okay, Ryan, what are you
I am
reading?
I am reading the book you recommended, Night, the Fey Games book 2.
And
Um,
I am reading Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which was
Oh,
what
have you
Andy
started it
recommended. I
yet?
have, yes.
Oh, I love that one. It's so
I honestly didn't expect that I would, but I really do. And the reader
yeah,
is
I
really
didn't think
good
I
too.
would either,
Yeah.
but like it's so like
I,
it's so
I
good.
I have that book somewhere. I should find
Ah.
that.
It's a
You know,
fun
you might have
one.
gotten that from the shop, dude, because we've had it at the shop a couple of times.
Oh,
It sells, so
mm,
you might have
yeah,
bought it
it's a.
from me.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so, but
Okay,
maybe,
okay. It's possible.
maybe. Support local business.
Hey,
Vampires
exactly.
Yes.
hunting.
Yes. And
Uh,
Abraham Lincoln,
and
who's
Abraham Lincoln.
he's totally not dead. Absolutely not. He's a vampire now.
He's gotta
Oh, I don't
be.
want to give
Yeah.
away the ending. I
Oh,
won't give
come
away the ending.
on.
Too late. You did.
Spoiler alert. Oh,
Yeah,
He
for a book
created
and
Lincoln
movie that's been out
Logs.
for a while. Yeah.
yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Or he
Okay.
calls them logs.
He just calls them logs. Exactly. Abe logs. Ah, okay.
Those are my
So,
logs.
oh boy.
Oh goodness.
Okay. So, we will be meeting up again Monday. Is that correct? Are we doing Mondays now?
I
Yeah,
think it was I can do like yeah, whatever, but
Okay.
I think it was because Ryan's work schedule changed.
yeah, my
Yes.
work schedule got changed.
Yes.
Mhm.
So Mondays?
Yeah, Mondays work for me.
All right. Well, then, next Monday we will be joining you, and I'll do something on Valentine's Day. It'll be non-romantic, I promise. Okay, so
I
I
have
will.
heart-shaped chicken nuggets.
Oh, well, exactly. Maybe I'll do that too.
Me and my cat and I will be enjoying some chicken nuggets.
With a
That's
glass of
She,
wine, a couple candles.
yeah, probably.
Aw,
Jen
I'll
and
Jules.
Jen and I
put
will
on the
probably be playing
notebook.
video games.
Yeah, I know you will. Of course you will.
Yeah.
I'll be going to writers group. Okay, so I will see you guys next Monday, and I will talk to you both probably very soon.
All right.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.